In the hush of an empty stage, a blonde bombshell whispers a secret. She smiles, eyes sparkling under the spotlight, and the world sees an idol of innocence and sex appeal. But behind that glittering facade lurks a question that refuses to die. Was Marilyn Monroe truly the dumb blonde everyone thought, or a brilliant mind hiding in plain sight? Her life was a riddle shrouded in glamour and pain, inviting us to peek behind the mask. Tonight, we venture into Marilyn's world of shadows and light, asking the haunting question, was she really dumb, or brilliantly pretending? Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. In today's dark and poetic journey, we peel back the layers of Hollywood's most enigmatic icon, Marilyn Monroe. If you crave the untold stories behind the legends, you're in the right place. Get ready for an emotional exploration of Marilyn's public persona versus private reality, a story of fame, masks, and the price one woman paid. Marilyn Monroe burst into pop culture like a supernova of blonde hair and red lips. To 1950s America, she was the very definition of a dumb blonde, a playful, childlike sex symbol whose purpose was to amuse and attract. On screen, she perfected this persona. In Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, 1953, she batted her lashes as the gold-digging Lorelei Lee, singing "Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend" in shocking pink satin. Audiences laughed when Marilyn's character quipped, "I can be smart when it's important, but most men don't like it." A line that felt like a cheeky joke because no one expected a bombshell to be brainy. Off-screen, interviewers found her disarmingly ditzy and sweet. She spoke in a breathy, little girl voice, giggled at her own malapropisms, and projected an aura of wide-eyed naivete. It was an irresistible illusion, the orphan-turned starlet who seemed blissfully unaware of her own sex appeal and silliness. In these early years, Marilyn's public image was meticulously crafted to enchant. Studio executives at 20th Century Fox bleached Norma Jeane Baker into Marilyn Monroe, coaching her in the fine art of innocent seduction. Photographers captured her pouting lips and skirt-flying antics, like that infamous scene over a subway grate in The 7-Year Itch, as if she were a living cartoon of feminine charm. To the public, she was a fantasy made flesh, pure joy, pure desire, and perhaps a bit of a joke. Comedians poked fun at her dumb persona. Columnists called her a jejune blonde, or insinuated she was all body, no brains. And Marilyn played along, mastering the art of self-deprecation. She once joked that she knew exactly what to do when a reporter asked what she wore to bed. "Chanel No. 5, of course," she purred, coyly sidestepping anything too intellectual. In Act 1 of Marilyn's life, the illusion was seamless. She embodied a male fantasy so completely that even those who should know better fell under her spell. But illusions, no matter how golden, eventually begin to crack. What happens when the cameras turn off? Behind the scenes, the dumb blonde started to unravel. Whispers of another Marilyn, a secret Marilyn, began to circulate. She kept notebooks and diaries that no one would read until decades later, and they revealed a surprisingly cerebral soul. In scrawled midnight entries, Marilyn wrote, "I am alone. I am always alone, no matter what." Words of a sensitive, poetic mind, far removed from the bubbly blonde on screen. By day, she played the fool. By night, she poured her loneliness and longing for respect onto the page. These private writings show a woman desperate to be understood, grappling with fears and philosophical thoughts. "It's all make-believe, isn't it?" she mused in one poignant line, acknowledging the hollowness she felt in the fantasy she was living. Marilyn's intelligence and ambition also refused to stay hidden. Tired of the dumb blonde roles that Hollywood kept feeding her, she rebelled. In 1955, at the height of her fame, Marilyn walked out on her studio contract, a shocking move, and fled to New York City to study acting seriously. She co-founded her own production company, fighting for better roles and respect. This was not the act of a dumb woman. It was a bold gambit by someone who knew her worth. Those close to her caught glimpses of her keen mind. She was an avid reader who amassed a personal library of over 400 books on literature, art, psychology, subjects far beyond the concerns of Lorelei Lee. In fact, Marilyn's IQ was reportedly 168, astonishingly high, and though some dismiss that number as a myth, it symbolizes how underestimated her intellect truly was. Actress Shelley Winters, who was Marilyn's roommate for a time, remarked with bittersweet insight, "If she'd been dumber, she'd have been happier." Winters knew that Marilyn was smart enough to feel the pain of her own predicament, smart enough to know the world didn't see the real her. Through the mid-1950s, the media started noticing another Marilyn emerging. She began quoting Shakespeare and Freud in interviews, talking about reading James Joyce's challenging novel Ulysses. Journalists were perplexed. Was it an act, or had they misjudged her all along? Even in her films, bits of her sly self-awareness slipped through. Monroe herself admitted how carefully she stuck to the dumb act. "If I play a stupid girl and ask a stupid question, I've got to follow it through. What am I supposed to do, look intelligent?" she once said. That quote drips with irony and frustration. Marilyn knew she was playing a character, and knew the world preferred the character to the complex woman she really was. And then there were the relationships, which hinted at Marilyn's hunger for intellectual and emotional connection. She didn't surround herself with fools. She married the legendary playwright Arthur Miller, a man of high intellect, shocking the public who couldn't imagine what this dumb blonde and a serious writer talked about over dinner. In truth, Marilyn craved knowledge and respect. Friends like Susan Strasberg, daughter of acting coach Lee Strasberg, saw Marilyn's curiosity and depth up close. While crashing at the Strasbergs' apartment, Marilyn would stay up late discussing poetry and psychology. Susan recalls Marilyn envying her for getting serious stage roles. "Marilyn sighed that I got all the great parts, the ones people respected," Susan said. "She got all the crap, because people were making money off her being the dumb blonde," Strasberg revealed. Marilyn knew she was being typecast and exploited, and she hated it. The unraveling had begun. The more Marilyn learned and grew, the more painfully she felt trapped in a glittering cage built by misogyny and money. Here, under the neon lights and behind closed doors, the truth of Marilyn's masquerade emerges. How much was she pretending? Evidence suggests she was brilliantly self-aware, perhaps even orchestrating the Marilyn Monroe persona as a performance. One friend, Amy Green, wife of Marilyn's personal photographer, told an astonishing story. While walking down a New York street with Amy, Marilyn was utterly unrecognized by passers-by. She was dressed plainly, almost invisible. Then, as Amy recalled, Marilyn turns to me and says, "Do you want to see me become her?" She turned something on within herself, and suddenly cars were slowing and people were turning their heads. They recognized that this was Marilyn Monroe, as if she'd pulled off a mask. In a blink, Norma Jeane vanished and Marilyn appeared. A persona literally switched on like magic. This was the reveal. Marilyn Monroe was a role, one she could play to perfection when she chose. The dumb, voluptuous, charming girl the world loved was a deliberate creation, crafted and worn like a second skin. Marilyn herself spoke about this duality. "I never wanted to be Marilyn. It just happened. Marilyn's like a veil I wear over Norma Jeane," she confessed. Imagine the weight of that veil. She became a superstar by hiding her true self behind an identity that often felt like a stranger. As her fame grew, the line between the mask and the woman blurred, a dangerous tightrope. Publicly, she kept up the act, but privately it corroded her spirit. She felt people only cared about the cartoon figure Marilyn, not the real her. "People had a habit of looking at me as if I was some kind of mirror instead of a person," she wrote in one piercing observation. They didn't see me. They saw their own lewd thoughts. Then they white-masked themselves by calling me the lewd one. Here is Marilyn, wide awake inside the dream, recognizing that men projected their fantasies onto her and then blamed her for it. It's a chilling, poetic insight, the kind that no dumb blonde could ever articulate. With every passing year, Marilyn's brilliant pretense cost her more. It cost her marriages. Joe DiMaggio couldn't stand that other men viewed his wife as a bombshell for public consumption. Arthur Miller, despite his love, struggled with the fragile, real woman behind the goddess image. It cost her health. Insomnia, anxiety and depression haunted her as she tried to live up to an impossible ideal. The studio system fed her pills to keep her anxieties at bay and her persona camera ready. She often wondered if anyone could truly love her, not the myth. As the cracks in Marilyn's life widened, she became increasingly vocal about her true desires. In what would be her final interview, Marilyn dropped the act entirely and pleaded with the world. "Please don't make me a joke," she said, her voice breaking from the weight of years of misunderstanding. "I don't mind making jokes, but I don't want to look like one. I want to be an artist, an actress with integrity." This was Marilyn Monroe unmasked at last. A passionate, intelligent woman begging to be seen as more than a punchline or a pin-up. She even mused about fame with a surprising detachment. "If fame goes by, so long I've had you, fame," she said. "If it goes by, I've always known it was fickle." These do not sound like the words of a silly, clueless girl. They sound like the bittersweet wisdom of someone who learned the hard way that glory is fleeting and identity is deeper than image. But this reveal comes too late. By August 1962, Marilyn Monroe was dead at 36, officially ruled a probable suicide, though shrouded in mystery and conspiracy. The world was stunned. Many only saw the tragedy of a glamorous life cut short. Few understood that Norma Jeane had been dying in the shadows for years while Marilyn glittered in the spotlight. In the end, how much of Marilyn was real and how much an act? The answer is both uplifting and heartbreaking. She was brilliantly pretending, so brilliantly that the act became inseparable from reality until it consumed her. Marilyn Monroe's life leaves us with a lingering ache and a provocative question about identity. We wear masks too, maybe not as dazzling, but masks nonetheless. Marilyn's mask happened to make her one of the most famous women in the world, yet it also isolated and destroyed her. There is a lesson in her story about the perils of living behind a persona. She once wrote, "It's not much fun to know yourself too well or think you do. Everyone needs a little conceit to carry them through and past the falls." Perhaps Norma Jeane needed the conceit of Marilyn to survive, to carry her through the lonely nights and crushing expectations. But in the end, the conceit became a prison. So, was Marilyn Monroe really dumb or brilliantly pretending? By now, the answer is clear. She was no fool. She was an actress playing the role of a lifetime, a role that brought her worship and ridicule in equal measure. Marilyn had wit, she had insight, and she had a desperate yearning to be taken seriously that the world largely ignored until it was too late. The real tragedy is that she had to pretend at all, that a woman of such talent and depth felt her only path to love and success was through a mask of childlike simplicity. In reflecting on Marilyn's fate, we confront our own reality. How often do we underestimate people, or ourselves, because of the masks we choose to see? Marilyn's friend, Susan Strasberg, said it best at Marilyn's memorial. "The sad thing about being a celebrity is it buys you a place in everybody's dreams but your own." Marilyn lived in millions of dreams, but struggled to live her own truth. In the end, Marilyn Monroe was brilliantly pretending, and the brilliance of her act was matched only by the depth of her pain. Let her story remind us that glitter can hide darkness, and that behind every public image, A private heart beats with dreams and despair we may never see. Marilyn once softly said, "You know, most people really don't know me." Now we know her a little better. And perhaps, in understanding her, we see more clearly the cost of wearing a mask for too long. If this story made you see Marilyn in a new light, hit that like button. And if you believe more people deserve to be seen for who they truly are, subscribe and join us as we uncover the truth behind the world's most misunderstood legends.